I'd like to hear about more of what you do. What is philanthropy?
Well, we were talking earlier about governance and some of the things that frame philanthropy. And I think philanthropic dollars are part of the public trust. If you have a high net worth person or a high net worth family or an entertainer or even a group of people who contribute to a philanthropy, that money as tax-exempt funds goes into a public trust and needs to be managed on behalf of the public. And I think that's a really important thing that we talk about in our work all the time, that philanthropies don't have any natural predators, right? There aren't a lot of market forces in philanthropy. There's the IRS, and so we talk about IRS rules, but there's also best practices, and this is where ethics are really crucial, right? How do you approach having the ability to change the course of social action in an ethical and responsible way?
So there are different ways of doing ethics, and students who are involved with this MOOC, this course, will be preparing a toolkit that will help them to make difficult decisions that are ethical in nature. One of the questions that we raise for philanthropy is, what are the rules?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say that in response to your statement that philanthropies are supposed to do good, they are. I think the first rule of philanthropy is do no harm.
Do no harm.
And there are more opportunities to do harm than you would believe in philanthropy, that there are unintended consequences that can happen through social investments because people don't thoroughly think through how to make those investments. And one of the most important things to do is invest in strong leadership. And without that strong leadership, no matter what you're doing, it can be problematic. So strong and consistent leadership. In terms of governance of philanthropies, I think this is where best practices, and this is where the IRS comes in, and sometimes it's Robert's rules, sometimes it's other frameworks for governing philanthropies. But often, like corporations, there's a board of trustees, and then there's the management side. So governance and management work very closely together with a lot of checks and balances and accountability. I think having clear policies and a clear framework for what you do and how you do it is critical to the success of a philanthropy, as is having a mission and understanding where it is you're going to invest and why. And then lastly, accountability. Making sure that those dollars are flowing in the way that you have agreed that they're going to flow, and that they're actually touching the constituency that they're supposed to touch. In philanthropy, there's a level between distribution of funding, which is the mechanism that's needed by the organizations that are doing this work on the ground, and the connection with the end users. So there's a relationship between the philanthropy and the nonprofit agencies. Nonprofit is the social service agencies, because they have profit, right? There's inherent value, so it's almost it's a misnomer. They are they have inherent value. So the social service
voluntary
agencies,
associations.
well, many of them have, many of them are paid, and we really hope that going into social service agency work or communal work is attractive for highly qualified, smart people, and that those organizations are willing to and can pay people what they're worth in order to do good work in the world. And there's a lot of debate about that you may have seen on some TED Talks.
Yes.